has made headlines after they blocked the Spit Bridge in Mossman yesterday morning. The protesters, they added more chaos to an already pretty stressful day with commuters battling the rain and the congestion caused by the train delays. To find out why they decided to protest during peak hour traffic, I'm joined by Samantha Noonan, a legally blind grandmother who was on the Spit Bridge yesterday morning. Samantha, good morning and welcome to the program.
Hi, John. Good morning.
Why on earth did your team think it was a good idea to put a legally blind grandmother in front of moving traffic in the rain yesterday morning? Whose brilliant idea was that?
Okay, well, that was partly mine because I happen to be the blind grandmother. I was there completely, with my own consent. Now, the reason we protested, it was quite unfortunate that we had already planned to go ahead with this, and it happened to coincide with the train strike, which is, we are quite sorry for that. That was not meant to happen. But basically, we just want to get our message to the government and definitely to the public that Australia is very under-resourced when it comes to the RFS.
Okay, but before we go any further, a lot of people would have to agree, and I certainly believe, that your message was actually lost during the mayhem of the stupid protest. I mean, what is Fireproof Australia?
Okay, so Fireproof Australia is a group of ordinary people. We are activists, but we're also from very diverse backgrounds. We do have some professionals.
But why would you want to inconvenience other people? Why? What are you achieving by that? You're not getting any sympathy by doing that. And I mean, what right do you have to stop other people getting to work and going about their daily chores? You don't have any right to do that. That's a disgraceful, irresponsible thing to do. And you're not an irresponsible woman. You're obviously a very sensible woman who manages life pretty well. So why would you want to be involved in something like that? Stopping people maybe getting to the doctor, stopping people taking kids to school, stopping people getting to work. Why would you want to do that?
The only reason we would ever consider doing that is because we are literally in a climate emergency, and these bushfires are going to come again and again and again. Black summer is going to be an average fire season by 2040. Even Commissioner Greg Mullins has said that repeatedly.
Okay, but we've also got to remember, my dear, that you say that the fires are going to come again and again and again and again. They've been going on again and again and again and again, centuries back. We've had fires in Australia so long as we've had Australia.
Really? Never, not this severely, though.
How do you know?
Well, it's all in the science. There are stats. We had 3,000 homes burned last Black Summer. It was in every state and territory in Australia at the same time. And basically it lasted for 9 months. If you count up when it literally started and finished, that was a 9-month fire season. And sorry, that's not normal.
Well, that's true. But to me it seemed extraordinary that you were prepared to do that, to block up that traffic, to cause all those delays. And somebody in that traffic might have been in an emergency situation, but you didn't care about that.
Well, absolutely. I do care about that, actually. Like having children of my own, I do understand that completely. The thing is, we need to draw attention to the fact that we are in a climate emergency. The RFS...
Who says we're in a climate emergency? The climate is changing. It's changed forever.
It has changed forever. But we now have the IPCC coming out with a code red for humanity. That sounds pretty emergency level to me. So basically, we're disrupting because we just need the message heard. We have tried in lots of other climate groups to go to marches and petitions and rallies, etc.
Okay, but assuming all that's correct. Okay, assuming that all you say about the climate and the possibilities of the change, even if that is correct, what have you achieved? What did that little sojourn on the Spit Bridge achieve? I'll tell you what it achieved. Nothing.
It achieved attention, and we're...
all the wrong sort of attention.
At this point, yes, but we're hoping that our message does get heard and that the government, put it this way, the government will start to take notice when we are blocking up infrastructure and city for weeks and weeks and weeks.
I see. So you don't care about people who have got to go about their everyday jobs, might be taking kids to a hospital, might be taking kids to school, might be taking an elderly lady to a card game. You don't care about any of them. Why don't you go and protest in a park?
As I said, it hasn't worked.
Why don't you go and protest at the Domain outside Parliament House? That'd work. They'd certainly see you there.
It doesn't work. They don't listen. And I think this is, yes, it's a very drastic way, and it's absolutely going to inconvenience people. But compared to the big picture, you know, that was one day, that was 20 minutes. And it's horrible. It's horrible that we have to resort to this, really. But in history, this has worked with the civil rights movement, Gandhi, etc. And, you know, they didn't particularly want to be doing that either at the time. But this is how you bring about change, unfortunately. Have you
been charged with anything?
No, we were all, okay, yes, we were given infringement notices in the mail and given a move-on order from the area.
Say that again, you were given infringement notices and what?
Infringement notices in the mail, and we were given a move-on order from the area. So,
you know, you could end up with a criminal charge. How would you feel about that?
It's a risk I'm willing to take for the bigger picture. I would prefer to end up with a criminal record than to have my children dying or starving to death when society goes to shit.
I see. And you, Samantha, my dear, and you're a sweet woman, your protest is going to save your children's life.
I hope at some point, yes. Well, we're going to keep going until, you know, that...
I think I agree with you if there's a problem, but there's been a problem forever and a day. And I agree with you that it needs to be brought to the attention of the authorities, and it needs to be brought to their attention as soon and as loudly as possible, but not at the cost of other people living their lives as they're entitled to live them in a free country.
It won't be a free country for long, that's the problem.
No.
About having society.
No, Samantha, you know, you're pretty smart. You move off the subject as soon as I approach a subject that you don't like. I mean, not a free country. What actually do you mean by that? If we aren't a free country, what are we going to be?
We're not a free country because our government isn't looking after us properly. I mean, that's the simple, you know, bushfires, anything. Like, the government is corrupt at the moment.
Our government, oh, come on now, Samantha, you're getting a bit silly now. Our government is corrupt. Could you tell me where the corruption is in government?
The fossil fuel industry, for one thing.
The what industry?
The fossil fuel industry. The gas, the coal, the oil. We've been warned, if we keep doing this, that by 2030, we will have reached tipping points in the climate, and then that's the thing. People think it's an inconvenience now to be, you know, stuck in some traffic. What happens when there's food and water shortages? Like, these things literally scare me, which is why...
Well, I mean, you're scaremongering by saying, what are we going to do when there's food and water shortages? We will never live in Australia with food and water shortages. You're being an alarmist. You're putting thoughts into people's minds that may be a little weak-minded, and they're going to listen to all this rubbish that you're suggesting, and they're going to be concerned by it. Some people may even be frightened by it.
Honestly, I hope they are frightened by it, because it's something to be frightened of.
What is to be frightened of? That we're going to run out of food? Not in your lifetime, not in my lifetime.
I suspect it will be in my lifetime, unfortunately.
You think we're going to run out of food?
Not run out per se, but we're going to be under-resourced with food. I mean, even during the bushfires, we're still suffering from food shortages. Well, I went to a winery in the Southern Highlands a couple of weeks ago, and their their grape crop hasn't come back fully from the fires.
No, so, well, of course.
Disasters like this. Yeah, this is the result. That's just logic.
Yes, but it takes, after a fierce fire, it obviously takes time to recover. But these fires have been going on before anybody even looked about living in Australia, forever. And the original Aboriginals used to light the fires and move on. They used to light the fires deliberately to get better growth out of the country.
Absolutely. If we could go back to those ways even, we'd love to have some First Nations input into this.
Well, we can't go around setting fires to the place now, can we?
No, we obviously can't do that. But they do know what to do when a mega fire hits.
They do, that's true.
Yeah.
But one of the main problems is on the Spit Bridge thing, there's no alternative route. I mean, unless you want to go over Roosevelt Bridge, and then you've got to drive all the way out to Roosevelt and cross there. You've put people in harm's way.
I don't think we put people in harm's way. We certainly inconvenienced them.
You certainly did inconvenience them,
Well,
and you caused a lot of traffic congestion, which put people in harm's way.
Okay, do you not think, though, that a massive bushfire is more likely to put people in harm's way?
Yes, but that's a silly thing to say.
Really?
Yeah, that's a silly thing to say. How many people live on any area where there could be a massive bushfire? It's not going to happen in Pitt Street.
Well, it did come to the edges of Sydney.
Well,
Sydney at the time.
Could it really? Anyway, Samantha, I think you're a very nice woman, and I've enjoyed talking to you, but it's a bit pointless because you're not going to be moved. I don't know who's got into your ear, but somebody got into your ear and spoken a lot of nonsense. You've accepted it, which is a bit of a pity because I think you're better than that.
Okay, well, yeah, you're entitled to that opinion, so...
Yes, I am. That's right.
Okay.
All right, Samantha, my dear, take care of yourself now.
Okay, thank you, Don.
Okay, Samantha, bye. I didn't want to be rude to her because she's lovely.